this drama. Like you supposed to be my mama. And you supposed to be my sister. And you supposed to be my brother. Loving one another, I thought, but nowadays I'm caught deep in thought. Cause things don't act like they are. Take me back, Lord, to the first. When family reunion was on Sunday at the church. Cause things seem strange instead of familiar. Instead of edifying, saints want to kill you. See you dying, and I'm crying out for those who knows how the Spirit of God flows. With love, agape, and I pray that we will unite and form a holy posse. And do this thing for the newborn king, giving hope to the meek through the door he brings.
Good deal. Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real when we are standing up? Jesus Christ loves us, for the Bible tells us so. What's the deal? Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real? Let's put our faith in love and show this world the church. Yeah.
We all just get along, maybe not in the world cause it's wicked and wrong, but in Christ we have life, so let's live it. Freely we've been given it, so freely let's give it a shock this nation, while they behold the peace in the midst of our congregation. All in together now, singing, bringing hope, got the devil on the rope, tag teaming, steaming with the Spirit that be burning our bones, praying that he never ever leaves us alone. So stop sinning, stop tripping, put on the whole armor of God and get thoroughly equipped and flip the script and renew, stay true, cause under the clear blue there ain't nothing new. Word doers do. How's about you on the real? Tell me what's the deal?
Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real when we are standing up? Jesus Christ loves us, for the Bible tells us so. What's the deal? Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real? Let's put our faith in love and show this world a church. Yeah.
So while you're out there wondering if God's gonna do what he's already doing, cause he already knew. One day you were gonna be his child, and one day you were gonna see these trials. So it's best to be safe and stay in God's race, not walking by sight, keep walking by faith. Not being stressed when the world try to press. Just keep in mind, yo, it's only a test. How do we look? Preaching the good book. When things start shaking, we the ones shook. When the heat start baking, we the ones cook. I never seen the righteous begging bread over soap. I'd rather be hot, mean, blind, lame, standing before God without blame, than having my whole body casting the hell's fire from following the world, seeking those evil desires. Nah.
Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real when we are standing up? Jesus Christ loves us, for the Bible tells us so. What's the deal? Tell me why is it so hard to keep it real? Let's put our faith in love and show this world a church. Yeah.
All right. Truly, the real you loves you. You know, I'm truly, right?
Okay.
Because the real you is.
Love.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's live edition or episode, actually, episode 4, season 2 of Truly Live, your weekly digital talk show where we interact with our viewers around the awesome subject of transformation. And we are here only because of you. My name is Oliver. This is
I'm Yolanda.
we the OK Blues, and we are transformational coaches, conference speakers, transformational teachers, and a whole lot more. And we are so excited about tonight's episode because we are excited that you are here with us and joining us. And we're just, I tell you, it just keep getting gooder and gooder.
Oh, gooder and gooder.
Is that a real word?
No, that is not.
Well, we can make up. We creative being. We have a creative nature. Can't we make up words?
You do.
The people that the words that are out there that are commonly acceptable, didn't somebody make those words up?
You make up words all the time, Oliver.
All right.
All the time.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys and gals for being here tonight. It is so much of a delight that today is what we call game day here at the Blue Household. And it's been a pretty quiet day, hasn't it?
Before or after you put me on blast on the internet, huh? Which one?
Hey, if you're listening and if you happen to catch the little promo that Yolanda and I made earlier today about tonight's episode, where she was in the studio with me, and we made a little promo about tonight's broadcast. She said I put her on blast. She didn't know that we were live, but I told her she did an outstanding job. And if you agree with me, just place in the chat, you did an outstanding job.
No, that does not get you off of the hook.
That
brother.
doesn't get me off the hook.
No, sorry, not at all.
Wow. Well, listen, I don't want to get off your hook. I want to stay on your hook. Well, let's acknowledge a few of our patrons that have chatted with us or put something in the comment field. First of all, we say hello to our VIP patron, Bob and Carol, our dear friends and patron supporters from the great state of Indiana. Also like to recognize the one and only doctor from WSSU, Miss Jill. How you doing out there, Jill?
Hello, Dr. Jill. How
All
are
right.
you? Hello, Bob and Carol.
Yes.
Let's see what else. All right, there we go. They're just having some conversation.
They're
and
having
that is,
some
and that is wonderful.
Yes. This is an interactive program, so we inspire you, and we promote interaction.
Yes, we encourage
Yes.
you to do that.
Yes. So we're going to have a conversation tonight, and we definitely want your input or your thoughts about this subject that we're going to continue tonight, as we started last week talking about living a life of freedom, or the subject of freedom, of being free. There's a song by the Ohio Players that says, "I want to be free." I can't sing it because it's in a falsetto, so I'm not going to attempt to sing it. But yeah, I want to be free, and I think that's kind of the cry of. That's kind of a collective cry of the human species right now. I want to be free. Because if you live in the same stratosphere planet that I live on, there appears to be such a strong cry for freedom. And so this is one of the reasons that we're pointing our energy towards this subject, so that we can get more clarity, more understanding, right? And so we're going to do part 2 of this tonight, and we're just glad that you're here. And with that said, want to also acknowledge any first-time viewers tonight. We welcome you. This is the platform of Truly Live, which was co-created by me and my beautiful wife Yolanda. And the reason, or our greatest motivation for creating this platform, is that we just feel like that there is such a need for all of us to expand our awareness, right?
Yes.
Expand our consciousness when it comes to this moment in time. And so we teach here transformation, and we give a whole lot of love. So we're, as we said earlier, we're both certified transformational coaches, and we are parents and grandparents. We have three beautiful adult children and one just outstanding 2-year-old grandson. And
The best
that is the best that we know
in our world.
in our world. Yes. And we're also co-founders of a um, personal development company called Truly OB LLC. And we have this company for the purpose of teaching and coaching principle-centered. It's a principle-centered coaching strategy that we use to work with individuals to help them to come to understand, number one, and get more clarity, number one, on their true identity, which we call
The real you.
we call it the real you. And then number two, the purpose of the company is to help all humanity, especially those that have such a desire for personal growth and to get different results in their life. I mean, it's one thing to go through life. It's one thing to live 90 years, but it's another thing to live 90 years 90 times, the same year and the same results.
So it's one thing to live 1 year 90 times.
1 year 90 times,
And
same
it's a different
thing.
result to live
90 years,
with
and
each year being
different
yes.
different result,
Yeah.
growth. And so that's why we're here. That's why we have given our energy and our effort and our commitment over to the personal development transformational community.
Yes.
And so we are glad that you're here. And we know that you're here because you have a personal interest in your own growth, and you have an interest in having a different experience.
Yes.
And so we're here to help coach you, to provide you with tools that can help you to understand that it's a natural thing to grow. It's in our DNA to grow. And it's also in our DNA to have an abundance of different experiences. It's called life, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so we share on this platform what we call is timeless content, universal principles and transformational tools and community access to help you guys to have a deeper and more meaningful life. Am I smacking? She's been had the giggles all day. I mean, I've said some things that are comical. I've said some things that are comical today, and she laughed. But I said some common things, and she still laughed. So laughter does good like a medicine, honey. I'm so glad that you're full of giggles today.
Okay.
So we're here to help those of you that would like a deeper meaning in life and a more deeper experience in life. So we have a strong desire for personal growth, for those who have a strong desire for personal growth and for different results. We'll also share a decade of experience from our journey together, and we've done a whole lot of good stuff in life, and we gained a lot of experience from it. But most of all, I think, that what really makes us who we are is that we are a dance loving, fun loving, joyful, grateful couple,
Yes.
team, roommates. And that we have used joy and laughter all our life to help us get through some of our challenges. And we advise you to do the same. And so here we do get a little, we add a little levity to our show. I get a little comical sometime, and she gets tickled.
Okay, Oliver. Ooh.
So, would you like to share with our audience why we do this?
I don't have my papers.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to the next segment.
Oh my goodness.
She's full of giggles tonight, and it's to my delight. And after the show, we're going to make it all right. So that she may sleep tight.
All right, Oliver.
And I will stay up and watch and make sure that the bed bugs don't bite.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That was an original Oliver.
That was an
Blue.
original. Yes. We won't have no copyright
Oh my
issues with
goodness.
that, right?
No, no copyright issues there. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Well,
Whew.
bear with us tonight. You can see we are in a great vibration.
Oh my goodness. Whew.
Well, also, we like to again acknowledge all of our patrons. Thank you for being so faithful in your support. We also like to send happiness to all those who are celebrating a birthday in this past week or an anniversary
In this week.
in this week that we're in, a birthday or an anniversary or whatever kind of celebration that people get into.
Whatever it is that they're
Whatever it is you're
celebrating,
celebrating.
we celebrate you.
We celebrate you. And
Today is your brother's birthday.
today is my brother's birthday.
Uh-oh.
August 25th. Oh, how did I miss that? Happy birthday, Harold.
Happy birthday, Harold.
Oh, happy birthday to my brother Harold. Happy birthday to you. All right. Happy birthday, Harold. I missed that somehow on my calendar.
There you go.
I'm going to have to
again.
give him a call after the show. Happy birthday, Harold. And to anyone else that's out there celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, we send you so much love.
And I think that tomorrow is National Dog Day. I think
Oh, really?
so. I'm saying Happy National Dog Day
Happy National
to Kona and Noel
Dog
and
Day
Fiji.
to Fiji, Kona, and Noel.
the
These are three.
dogs that in
These are
our-
three
in our
dogs that
orbit.
are in our lives.
They're not ours. But
They're not ours,
but
no.
we love 'em.
But we love them. Yes. Also, like to acknowledge our parents. My mom, who Yolanda called Grandma Blue, and to her dad, who I call Papa. And they're better known as Catherine and Dewey. And we
Yes.
just celebrate them. We are thankful and grateful for them for making it possible for this project boy. I was raised in the projects of North Carolina, and this farm girl from northern part of the state of North Carolina, and she was a sharecropper. She was
I
born
was the daughter of a
the daughter of a
sharecropper.
sharecropper,
Yeah.
and she was born pushing a mule or behind a mule. Oh no, that's you're behind the mule.
No.
You weren't behind the mule? Oh, that's right.
We
You was
had
on
this
you was on a
conversation
tractor. She was born on a tractor. I mean, she was raised on no, she worked in the field and she drove the tractor.
I don't
And
know.
it-
I
and
don't
it-
know why people.
And we just thank our parents for making it possible for this unique expression here. This is a unique expression. You can search the world over and you will not find this combination anywhere.
Oh boy.
And so we thank our parents for helping and to create this beautiful expression called the OK Blues.
Yes.
Yes. So hello,
Oh.
Mama. I know Mom's watching.
Hi, Grandma Blue.
Don't know about Papa though.
Papa's not watching.
Papa's not
Papa
watching.
is
Okay.
not watching.
Okay. Papa gets a review, a live review from Yolanda every week. And so we're happy and grateful tonight that, first of all, I'm just happy and grateful for the joy in our hearts. I'm happy and grateful for our health and our well-being. I'm happy and grateful for the people that are in our life, the people that commune with us here in this platform and other platforms. We're
Yes.
happy and grateful.
This is a wonderful community.
A wonderful community,
Yes.
and we are in the midst of great people, wonderful people,
And we have phenomenal
having
friends.
phenomenal friends.
We're about to have some this weekend.
And we're
with
about to
us.
have some
Woo-hoo!
week this weekend with us. This is kind of like our anniversary birthday 2.0.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
right. And so we're gonna just wrap all that up into one weekend with some great friends, Pearl and Sherwood, that's gonna be visiting with us.
And it's going to be on
and it's gonna
popping.
be on and popping. And we're gonna do some different. We got a great little agenda for them.
We have
Line up.
We have a nice
Yeah.
little setup.
You would want to come visit the Blues, because when you come visit us, we roll out the red and the blue carpet for you. We don't just bring you into the house and sit you into a chair and, just give you the basics, but we take you places,
Yeah.
give you experiences that you never had.
Oliver's going to be grilling some things.
I'm going to be
I've already
grilling.
started cooking some things.
Yes,
So,
we're going to
yeah.
take in a minor league baseball game this weekend.
Yes.
And
We're gonna see the Dark
we're going to
Horse.
we're going to give them some experience with some Peruvian food.
Some Peruvian
We're going
food.
to give them a Peruvian experience on tomorrow, actually.
Yes.
So, see, you want to come and visit with us and commune with us and stay with us. So, how about, put it in the chat?
Oh my God. He needs to stop. You need to stop.
Well, hey, we're just loving like that today. Love is just overflowing off the chart.
Oh
So-
my gosh.
What Jill said?
Dr. Jill says she'll be there.
Dr. Jill,
Dr. Jill.
you will be there. All right, Dr. Jill. Well, unlike it was with our elder brother, there is room at the end.
And Dr. Jill doesn't have that part to come.
No, she don't. All right. Yes, I am on, Carol. I got turned on about 7 o'clock this morning, I think it was,
And
when
it's
I
been
rolled out to bed.
Stop. He's been nonstop, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life is good. And, Yolanda and I have been, talking and discussing and studying this thing on freedom. And what we're just finding out is that, before I get into the lesson,
Are we just finding this out?
we're not just finding out, but we're
Oh.
getting more expanded awareness on the
Yes.
reality that we're already free in every area.
Yes.
That we're free already. So it's not about us trying to find out where freedom is or what makes us free, but a discovery that we're already free.
Yes.
And so before we get into tonight's life lesson, which is again on the subject of freedom, you want to read our inspirational and encouraging quote for tonight?
Are you going to let me do that without making me giggle?
I'll be quiet.
Okay. Oh, wow. So tonight's quote says, "It wasn't until I look inside myself that I found the truth of it all." And that quote is from Anthony L. Williams.
Wow. We'll read that again.
"It wasn't until I look inside myself that I found the truth of it all."
And the truth of it all is freedom.
Freedom.
What a wonderful quote. And that is a great segue into our discussion tonight on the subject of freedom. And tonight we're, as we did in the promo today, we asked a question here at the beginning. And that question would be, what does freedom mean, or what does freedom look like in your life? I think many of you shared last week of particular areas in your life that you would love to experience another level of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about some different areas that we're going to be talking about in this series where freedom is concerned. And first of all, we talked about those levels will include spiritual, mental and intellectual freedom,
Mhm.
psychological or emotional freedom, bodily freedom. You want to share?
Relationship freedom, time and money freedom, and expression or service.
Yes. And so these are just, areas that we thought about, that we know for our own self that there was a time in our life that we desired to have different experiences in these areas, or experience a new higher level of freedom.
Mhm.
And we also mentioned last week that
And
our
some of these are actual focus areas
some of
that
these
we address with our
absolutely,
transformational coaching business. We
absolutely
chose some of those.
right, because uh, since you mentioned that in our coaching business, when we work with individuals or groups, we have 6 core areas that we help and support and coach individuals or groups or organizations with. And they include relationships,
Time and money freedom,
health and wellness,
spiritual awareness,
vocation and job.
and service.
And so these are like core areas
Mhm.
where you can kind of lump all humanity desires in one of these 6 core areas when it comes to having different results or different experience in these areas. But it's not limited to those 6. And so
No.
here we got a little more specific when we said mental and intellectual, psychological and emotional and
Yes.
bodily
Well,
freedom.
bodily freedom is with the health and well-being.
It's health and
Yeah.
well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as we spend the next uh, few episodes talking about freedom and having a conversation around it, um, we look back on last week where we laid the foundation by using our good friend Merriam Webster, who basically said that freedom um, is choosing or having the ability to choose for oneself without anything beyond its own nature. And so to me, that has can be restated by saying that we have the freedom to choose for our own nature, what is inherent, what is essential, and what is what we would say would be what is our freedom to experience. And so we talked about having some conversation around those specific areas.
And we have a comment here. Bob and oops, hold on. Let me just this again. Bob and Carol. Okay, hold on. This left hand. Okay, hold on.
You want me to get it for you?
I'm gonna come over here. All right, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, there we go. Hold on.
Actually, do you want me? You try it. There you go.
Bob and Carol said that we are thankful for the freedom to be me and also be we.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. And so when we talk about freedom, or the Miriam talked about, it's a state of being. Freedom is a state of being. And so the state of being free, and then free is the choice, having that freedom to choose for ourselves that which is what essential to ourselves. And we also used a quote last week that will be helpful here to help us to move this conversation along. Remember, we said last week, this was a quote from Viktor Frankl that says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." And so this quote really coincides with the definition that Merriam-Webster shared with us, that freedom, or to be free, is the power to choose, the power of choice, and choosing what is in our nature, what is in our reality,
Yes.
or we could say, well, what is true to us and what is true to ourselves, and having the freedom to choose that. And
Briefly, last week we went over some of humanity's common desires for freedom. And that was
so things that
we
humanity wants to be free from, right?
Yes, yes.
You want to name some
or
of those?
just to have freedom in.
Right.
And that was to be free from fear or the unknown,
To be free from suffering,
free from oppression or control,
from scarcity or lack,
free from inequality,
from threat, the threat of personal threat or global or community threat,
so that was terror and war.
terror and war,
And then the freedom from guilt.
which is huge,
Mhm.
or guilt consciousness is what we
Mhm.
call it, the consciousness of guilt. In other words, where we focus our energy on that happens within our emotional, our psychological, our mental, and intellectual self. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the freedom from guilt.
And we also talked about how living a life of freedom is not only possible, but it can be purposeful.
Absolutely. It is our purpose to experience freedom.
Yes.
And so with that groundwork laid, we want to start tonight by even laying a greater foundation for this conversation. And so we want to begin our lesson tonight by saying, what's our friend that he wrote First Things First, the book?
Stephen Covey.
Stephen R. Covey. I love Stephen R. Covey. He was one of my first mentors in personal development. And Stephen made a great quote or a great statement many years ago. And it has slipped me just that quick.
Were you talking about putting first things first?
Oh, no. He made the statement that we should begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. I
Yes.
did not know where you were going there.
In fact, that was one of the 7 habits.
Yes, it was.
And Stephen said that a most effective way for growth and development is to achieve in life is to begin what your goal is or what your vision is. Begin it, whatever you do, whatever you decide for it to go after or to experience. He said, begin it with the end in mind.
With the end in mind.
So in other words, you go to the end of it and you imagine what the end that you want, what the result that you want, what it feels like, what it's going to look like. And you hold that vision or you hold that thought or that idea in your mind. And as you begin to move in that direction, everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you think, you do it and say it and think it with the end goal in mind. So beginning with the end in mind. So here we're going to take that principle and apply it here as we begin talking about freedom. So we want to start tonight by saying that you are, or we are, talking about all of us, but that we are already completely free.
Yes.
I'm going to say that again. We are already, when I say we, I'm talking about humanity. I'm talking about the entire human race. We are already completely free. There is nothing in this world that can make us free. So we're beginning with the end of how this conversation is to end, is that we come to find out that we're already free.
Yes.
Freedom comes through understanding. It comes through awareness. And so Yolanda and I are not coming into this conversation from our perspective, from our perception, or even our experience. The sacred writing tells us that wisdom is the principal thing, that therefore get wisdom, and with all you're getting, it says get understanding.
Yes.
and that is a scriptural that is in the book of Proverbs. I believe it's 4:6. And but it says, get wisdom and get what? Understanding. He said, in all you're getting, get understanding. And so what we're going to be sharing on the subject of freedom, we're coming from a point of view of transformation. Transformation basically is a community of knowledge that is based on universal principles, right?
Yes.
And a lot of universal principles are based on spiritual principles. And so we're also be coming from uh, a point of view of spiritual principles, because we know that, like it says here, principle is the what? It says wisdom is the principal thing. And we know that a principle is that which is what? That which is fixed, that which is
Primary.
that which is unchanging and unalterable.
And that scripture is actually Proverbs 4, verse 7.
Okay, Proverbs 4, verse 7 is what the quote that I use. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. And that's important. And so we want to understand what it means to be free. We want to understand what freedom is, not from our own experience, not from history, but we want to understand it from a universal principled point of view, or a spiritual point of view. Okay. And so when we talk about understanding basically is moving from our current position or current view of a situation, circumstance, or condition, and looking at it from another point of view. So we stand under another point of view. And so in this case, we're going to stand up under the point of view of the universal principle, or under the point of view of the spiritual principle or the spiritual law, because that is what is unalterable. That is what is unchanging. Because if we just share our experiences, our experiences change, and they're different than everyone else's experience.
Yes.
But when we share with you the principle, timeless principle is what it's called. When we share with you the spiritual law, then this is what you can take to the bank. It's not changing. It's like the law of lift or the law of gravity. You can always count on it. An airplane takes off from the runway, knowing that the law of lift and the law of gravity are at work, and that these two laws work together to create the lift that the plane needs to get it off the ground. I've never seen one pilot going down the runway at 100 miles an hour praying, "Oh, I hope this thing get up in the air." No,
Well,
he's working with the laws, right?
Well, occasionally.
No, but you understand what I'm saying. They are working with a law that never changes. So with speed and lift and drag,
barring complications.
barring complication,
Yeah.
So they know a certain speed and a certain drag and a certain position of the flaps, where that air below and the air at top on the top. Something happens in that. It's all science, and you should know that. You're a
I
scientist.
should know that. Listen, I should know that.
That airplane,
Velocity, speed. Yeah,
velocity, speed, right? And then lift takes place, and it takes that tin can off the ground. And so they count on that law because it doesn't change. It's a principle. It's a universal principle. It's a spiritual principle. And so when we approach this subject of freedom, that is the perspective that we want to come from.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not that smart.
Speak for yourself. Remember, we know all things.
Yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
we're
so
getting
review.
the understanding. So there are a couple of scriptural reference that I do want to use and lay as a foundation. Some of these you are familiar with. And as you can remember, as it was spoken by the greatest teacher of all time, which they call him, Jesus was the greatest teacher. He mentioned freedom, and this is what he said about it. He says, that one could be free indeed. Free indeed, meaning that one could be truly undeniable and, as a matter of fact, free. That can be one's experience. Or, matter of fact, he said it should be our experience. And that was taken from the scriptural John chapter 8, verse 36. And I'm going to quote it from the King James Version. And it says, "If the Son, therefore, shall make you free, you are free indeed." What is he talking about? That we're free indeed.
Mhm.
And then there's another scriptural reference I want to use that's come from 2 Corinthians 3 and verse 17. And this is the NIV version of that scripture. And it says, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom."
Yes.
Notice now, it says, where the Spirit of that the ultimate creator in life is, there is absolute freedom. What does that mean? If that's the truth, why am I not experiencing absolute freedom, right?
Mhm.
And then I want to, so just using those two scriptural references, we can say that those are universal laws. The universal law says that we are free indeed. And it also says, because we are in the, we are God's highest creation. Humanity is. We are God's highest creation. There's not another level of creation that is higher than humanity. In other words, it says that humanity was made in the image and likeness of the Creator.
That means in the nature.
In the nature, having the same nature, having the same essence, right?
Yes.
Having the same awareness and the same consciousness, because that's what our nature is. The nature of humanity is that we have what? We have consciousness and we have awareness. And that's God's highest creation, because that's the nature of God himself, or the creator himself, is consciousness and awareness. It's one thing that we're absolutely sure about. We may not be sure about any other thing in our whole experience, but the one thing that we are sure about is that we exist, or said another way, that we what? That we are conscious, or that what? Or that we are aware. We know that. We may not know why we exist, why we are conscious, or why we are aware, but we know that we are, without a doubt. And so, if awareness and consciousness is the nature of our Creator, and it's our nature, then that awareness and that consciousness in and of itself is the presence of what? The Creator. And so therefore, the freedom that is in the Creator, that freedom lies within us also.
Mhm.
That is a universal principle. Everything produces after what?
After its own kind.
After its own kind.
Yes.
Therefore, as the principle says, where the presence or where the spirit of our Creator is, there is absolute freedom. And then we have to ask the question, why aren't we experiencing that freedom? And that's a great question to ask.
What is it that is causing us not to experience
What
freedom?
is causing us not to experience the freedom?
Yes.
And so, to really understand real freedom, we have to venture back to the source of all freedom. And that's what we're laying the groundwork here today, by going back to the very origin of life. So we have to go back. We have to go back in our history. Go back beyond your parents, beyond your grandparents. You have to go all the way back beyond your great grandparents, right? Yeah. And then you have to go all the way back through all the thousands of years to the first, what they call the first man and woman. You have to go, and you can't stop it, Adam. who's the first created man according to history. You have to go beyond that because life didn't just begin with Adam. So you have to go before time and space and before form was created. And what we will find is
So you're
formlessness.
saying go all
You
the
got
way
to go
back
all the way back to the origin, to the source of thing,
to
to
the
find
source.
out what real freedom is.
That's right.
Because we're just not going to, again, limit this conversation to just what we know. But like Proverbs instruct us, in all our getting, we need to get understanding.
Get understanding.
And what we want to do is get under and stand under the point of view of our Creator to try to come to understand what real freedom is. And so as we go all the way back to even before the world was, we know that there existed this supreme being that was completely free and remains completely free. And then we move forward and it says, where that presence is, there is freedom. And we know that our Creator is omnipresent,
Yes.
everywhere present. And so if that be the case, and we know that we're not separate from that presence, then why is it that we don't experience the freedom that we desire? And so
what is it that causes us not to? I'll keep trying to do the
what is it that
powerful what
causes us not?
question, and you keep
Well,
saying what,
obviously,
but anyway.
well, if we're not experiencing freedom, it would have to do with our awareness, not being aware that it is present and that it is already in our possession, that is a part of our DNA. It's a part of our nature. Because our nature, our DNA is perfect. And it needs no upgrade, it needs no modification. It's who we are in reality, are perfect beings. I didn't say our body identification was perfect, but our true nature as spiritual being, that is what's perfect. That is what's unaltered. That's what's unchanged. And so there will have to be a block that we have erected that keeps us from the awareness of our absolute freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that foundation said, I like to make this statement that ultimate freedom comes by way of knowing or by way of revelation. And the knowing that we must have is that of our absolute oneness with our Creator, having the same nature of our Creator. And within that nature is liberty, or within that nature, like it says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is absolute freedom.
Yes.
So to me, there's only one thing, and it's been in my experience also. There's only been one thing in my life that has kept me from experiencing the freedom that is possible. That free indeed of freedom, like it was mentioned earlier, was that I was not aware that I was already free.
Yes. Yes.
I was ignorant to the fact that freedom is my inheritance. Freedom is my birthright. And so how do we define that? In a world where it appears there's so many natural, what you would think would be natural examples of oppression, right? Or of suppression, to where one think that he's not free or she's not free because of maybe human restrictions that they find themselves in.
So is that a natural restriction?
That's
or
right.
Is that a human restriction?
That's a human
That's a
restriction.
human restriction.
But there's not one human restriction that can take away our freedom.
That's right.
Because freedom is not the ability to just move around without being constrained, but freedom is the knowing that you have the power and the ability to choose.
Yes.
In every moment, in any situation, in any circumstance, that you have the power to choose for your nature, which is freedom. And freedom is again, it's not something that can be incarcerated or locked
Yes.
up,
Yes.
because in our reality, we are beyond what our body limitations are anyway. Uh, just think about the power of thought, the power of imagination, the power that we can use our mind to to transcend any external condition or circumstance. That we say in our coaching training all the time, that that which is in us is so much greater than anything that is
That is
outside of us.
outside
And
of
so, what
us.
is that within us? Is it the freedom, the freedom to choose? Is it the freedom to be at peace, regardless of what's happening?
It's the yeah, it's that, and it's the awareness of that.
It's the
I,
awareness.
I think
Mhm.
that so what is it that causes us not to live in that experience? And part of that is our not accepting
It's now. That's right.
that
It,
that's that's who and what we are.
right. So again, it says ultimate freedom comes by way of revelation of our oneness with God, and us having the same nature that God is, which includes freedom. He said, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's what? There's absolute freedom. It says, in our acceptance, which is our choice. And I think that's where the part we play, whether we accept it and experience it, or whether we erect a block to say it's not so.
Right.
That we put more stock in external conditions and circumstances and situations than we do in the reality of our absolute freedom.
Mhm.
It says, and our acceptance of this freedom as our very own reality. Is freedom your reality? If I ask you, is freedom your reality? Would you say yes? Would you say no? And we've seen the idea of freedom, um, on many different levels, in written documents, even in our, if you live in the United States, there's in our Constitution, it says that we have an alien right to what? To pursue
Life, liberty, and
life, liberty.
pursuit of
Liberty is
happiness.
freedom and happiness. But then when you look around and you see what's going on in our environment, many times you wonder if that's really what's being advocated,
Mhm.
because there's so many forces that seem to be opposed to what? Freedom and equality. But that is not the barometer.
No.
It says freedom is our awareness. We said freedom is having the awareness of having the same nature of our creator, and we call that here at Truly Live the real you. The real you is already free by your very own nature. And freedom is not something that is external to us, but it is something that is what? It is something that is intrinsic or
Yes.
internal to all of us. And as we experience different levels of freedom in different areas of our life, we talked about the different areas of our life. We talked about, freedom. What about freedom in relationships? How about freedom in our health and well-being? Freedom in our vocation and job, time and money freedom,
Mhm.
spiritual awareness and service. As we experience different levels of freedom in these areas, freedom to choose. Notice now, we say that that freedom that we experience is what is called love. Love is the experience of our true self or our true nature. And so, how are we good? How are we on time? We're good.
You've got 6 minutes,
I got
sir.
6 minutes.
6 minutes,
So
Dougie.
I've said a lot there. If you would like to respond to any of that or to comment on any of that, please use the comments in the chat. But I know I said a lot today. A lot of it are kind of what you would think would be lofty ideas. But you might say, well, I live in a world where, you know, um, there are different rules and there are different laws. And we all live in the same world where there's different rules and different laws. But none of those rules, none of those laws exceed the universal law that we mentioned earlier about complete freedom is in the knowing of our true nature, is in the knowing of ourselves, and not only knowing it, but accepting it as our reality, that we're already free. So when the statement was made that you are free indeed, that means that it is an absolute fact that we are all free. And we shared with you an example last week, um, about Viktor Frankl and his experience being in uh, a a camp and being suppressed and held imprisoned. But in all of that gruesome experience, he discovered that he could make a choice. That even in that moment, they could not take his freedom away to choose, to know who he was, and to respond in a way that he chose to respond to the situation.
As a matter of fact, Viktor Frankl he wrote a book, Meaning of Life, and he concluded that in every moment of living, life never ceases to have meaning, even in suffering and death.
Even in suffering and death. Because what we've already have talked about in the past, that all of the things in this world, they're all transitory. That means that they're subject to change. And anything that is subject to change, you can put it under the category that it is not real, meaning it's not eternal. Anything that changes is not stable, it's not certain, it's not sure, and ultimately you can say it is not real. So it really comes down to that which is real versus what? That which is not. And so we even have spoken that even death as we know it, or have has as it has been taught to us, is not the meaning of what it is, in the sense that it is not the end. It's because death in of itself is just an experience, just like anything on this planet. It's just an experience. It is not who we are. It does not transcend our true identity or the real you, because who we really are is our eternal beings, meaning that this experience we're having here in this lifetime, it's just that. It's just experiences, but it doesn't identify us. It doesn't change or alter our true nature. And again, within that true nature, what we're saying tonight is therein lies our freedom. It is inherent within us. And so freedom is accepting the reality of who we are.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so we're going to put a pin in it right there. And tonight was also a continuation of just kind of laying a groundwork, bringing in transformational and spiritual point of views to what true freedom is, before we get into the practical application of freedom and how now we take these ideas and apply them in our daily lives and in the different areas of our life, to how we can say that actually I've been free all the time. The only difference between me experiencing it is my unawareness, or my not embracing the freedom that I am. And so thank you so much for your ear tonight. And thank you, Yolanda, for sitting here looking all green
There you go again.
and healthy.
You go again.
And we just like to remind everyone that we have an upcoming workshop. Let me get a better view than that. How about that one? We have an upcoming workshop we call the Vision Workshop, which is scheduled for September the 10th 2022. And this is a 2-hour workshop that Yolanda and I are going to be sharing um, uh, for the purpose of helping all of us to take a look at our current results and building a vision for results that matter to us. And in so doing, we're going to be introducing some very, very helpful transformational principles. As you see here, we'll also learn about desire. We're going to be talking about committed decisions, what that looks like, self image, the real you. Why it's important to have a good self image. We're going to be talking about how to identify our limiting beliefs, talking about paradigms, how to become the vibrational match for the results that we desire, as well as why inspired action moves us into our results. So this is an upcoming workshop that we're looking forward to. The workshop is free in admission. However, you do need to register, and you can register by going to our website, and it's up on the flyer there, www.trulyob.com. And I'm going to have to, you got it? Okay, you got it off the screen. www.trulyob.com. You can go there, and on our homepage, there is this flyer, and there is a link for registration. Just click on the flyer and register for the 2-hour conference. You can also go to our Facebook page, which is Truly OB LLC, or you can go to my personal Facebook page, which is Oliver Blue, and you will find a space for registration there. So we're excited about the workshop,
Yes.
and we encourage anyone that is really serious about personal growth and or serious about getting different results in your life. This is the conference for you. And so we encourage you um, to register and to share this information with others.
All right.
And all right.
Well, we're so glad that you guys have, you want to remove that?
Yes.
So glad that you guys have joined with us tonight. And we like to do a blessing for everyone who is with us. And so we do this by using the Dalai Lama's loving kindness meditation. So we bless all of you who have joined with us and all of those that you hold near and dear in your heart. May you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
May you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose. That's the Dalai Lama. And Oliver and I have added, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We extend this blessing to every being on the planet. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much. And so until next time, and I'm doing a little pause here.
As we see.
But until next week, this same time, we want you to know that we are absolutely, we are absolutely in your corner, and we're here to support you. And so my name is Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And together we are
the OK Blues.
The OK Blues.
Okay.
Bye-bye.